She walked in slowly and said, "Don't ask questions, just stay." Inside, the crew moved about with careful precision, each step measured, each glance alert. They had been traveling for months, heading toward a star system that had long been a mystery. Reports from distant probes had shown strange energy readings, a station, abandoned or lost, drifting near a massive gas giant. Captain Elias Ward stood at the front of the ship's control deck, staring at the blinking lights of the scanner. His brow furrowed as the station came into view. It was enormous, a web of metallic arms and glowing nodes, orbiting the gas giant like a silent sentinel. Its surface shimmered faintly under the reflected light, strange patterns of energy pulsing across its hull. "This isn't anything we've seen before," murmured Lieutenant Mara, her eyes wide as she scanned the approaching structure. "It's huge and completely inactive. No signs of life, no signals, nothing." Ward nodded. "That's why we're here. We need to know what it is, what it was built for, and why it's just floating here." He took a deep breath. "Gear up, we dock in 30 minutes." The crew moved swiftly, donning suits and preparing tools, scanners, and weapons. The atmosphere was tense. None of them had seen anything like this station before. It wasn't just large, it was ancient, yet somehow alive, humming with a quiet energy that seemed to vibrate through the hull of their own ship. When they finally docked, the station's doors opened silently, revealing a wide corridor bathed in faint blue light. The humans stepped through cautiously, their boots echoing softly against the smooth metal floor. The air inside was breathable but carried a strange metallic tang, like iron and ozone combined. "This place, it feels alive," whispered Dr. Lena Torres, the ship's science officer. Her eyes scanned the walls, which were lined with intricate panels and glowing symbols that seemed to shift when she looked at them. Ward raised a hand. "Stay alert, keep your scanners on. Anything could happen." They moved deeper into the station, the corridors twisting in ways that made it difficult to keep track of direction. Strange shapes moved in the corner of their vision, shadows that seemed to vanish when looked at directly. Every now and then the hum of energy would spike, making their suits' sensors flicker. Then, without warning, she appeared. The humans froze. A figure emerged from one of the side corridors, walking slowly toward them. She was tall, far taller than any human, with skin that glimmered faintly in the blue light. Her eyes were large and dark, reflecting the energy of the station. Every step she took was measured, deliberate, and somehow commanding. There was no fear in her movement, only calm, controlled power. Captain Ward stepped forward slightly. "Identify yourself," he said, his voice firm, though his chest felt tight with unease. The alien stopped a few meters away, tilting her head slightly. Her lips moved, and then a voice echoed inside their heads, not through sound but through thought itself. "Don't ask questions, just stay." The crew exchanged nervous glances. None of them had expected telepathy. None had expected her to speak without moving her mouth. And yet they understood her perfectly. The meaning was clear. They were to follow, but not to question, not to interfere. Dr. Torres stepped forward, curiosity burning brighter than fear. "Why us? Who are you?" she asked. The alien's eyes flashed briefly, almost like a spark of irritation. Then she gestured toward a side corridor, indicating that they should move. The humans obeyed. Their boots made soft sounds on the floor, but otherwise the station remained quiet, almost reverent. As they followed her, the crew noticed subtle changes. The walls shifted slightly as they moved, panels glowing brighter or dimmer, as if the station itself was aware of their presence. Strange symbols on the walls seemed to align, forming patterns that pulsed in rhythm with their footsteps. Finally, they reached a large room at the heart of the station. It was circular, with a domed ceiling that displayed a holographic projection of the nearby galaxy. Planets, stars, and systems were marked in tiny points of light, with lines connecting them in patterns that suggested movement, strategy, or perhaps surveillance. The alien walked to the center of the room and paused. The humans crowded around, trying to make sense of the projections. One of the stars flashed red, a slow, ominous pulse that made everyone tense. She raised a hand, and the projection zoomed in. The red star was a colony system, one of the outer human settlements. The light around it flickered violently, showing signs of destruction. "They are coming," she said, again not with her voice but with her mind. "And you must understand if you want to survive." Captain Ward's mind raced. What's coming? And why are we the ones to stop it? The alien did not answer immediately. Instead, she extended her hand toward a panel on the floor. When she touched it, a series of holographic images appeared. Massive ships, alien shapes unlike anything humans had ever seen, moving with precision and speed. They were war machines designed for one purpose: annihilation. Dr. Torres gasped. Those ships, they're not human." "They never were," the alien said. "Your species is young, untested, but there is potential." Ward frowned. "Potential? You mean we're supposed to fight them? We barely know who you are." The alien's eyes glowed faintly. "Potential requires challenge. Survival requires action. You will learn or perish." The crew was silent. Fear hung in the air like a thick fog, but beneath it something else stirred: curiosity, determination, the faint spark of human courage that refused to bow to fear. As if sensing their hesitation, the alien moved again, walking toward another panel. She tapped it, and suddenly the room was filled with holographic controls, energy fields, and alien machinery. The humans instinctively stepped closer, drawn to the technology, to the unknown. "This station, it can help us," Ward said. "If we can learn it, if we can survive long enough to understand it." The alien nodded slightly. "You will, but first, you must prove yourselves." Suddenly, the walls shifted again. Panels slid aside to reveal a series of rooms, each containing challenges, obstacles that tested intelligence, agility, and decision-making. The humans glanced at each other nervously. Some were clearly hesitant. Others, like Tor's, felt a thrill of excitement. "We don't have time to waste," Ward said, his voice steady now, filled with the quiet confidence that had earned him command of this crew. "We follow her. We learn. We survive. That's the only way this ends well." The alien's gaze lingered on them for a moment longer. Then, without another word, she turned and moved down the corridor, leading them deeper into the heart of the station. As they followed, the crew began to realize something profound. This was no ordinary alien, no simple threat or ally. She was a test, a guide, and perhaps the only key to survival against something the humans could barely comprehend. Hours passed as they moved through the station, exploring corridors that shifted subtly, rooms that seemed alive with energy. Occasionally, the alien would pause, allowing the humans to interact with alien technology, to attempt to understand it. She offered no instruction beyond silent observation, forcing them to rely on their own intelligence and instincts. By the time they reached the innermost chamber, fatigue weighed heavily on them. Yet their minds were sharper, their senses alert. They had begun to understand the station, the subtle patterns in its energy, and most importantly, the alien guiding them. Then a loud hum filled the chamber. The projection of the galaxy shifted violently, and a series of red points appeared on the edges of human-colonized systems. The threat they had glimpsed earlier was not merely approaching, it was close, faster than expected. The alien stopped and turned toward them. Her eyes glimmered with something almost like respect. "You have seen the beginning," she said. "What comes next will test everything you are. Fear is natural, courage is earned, intelligence is required, survival is your choice." Captain Ward straightened. "Then we make the choice to survive." The alien inclined her head slightly, acknowledging his resolve. And as she moved toward the control panel, preparing for what lay ahead, the humans realized that nothing in their lives had prepared them for this. And yet, somehow, they were ready. The unknown awaited them. A threat beyond imagination, a challenge that could destroy entire systems. And in the center of it all was an alien who had walked in slowly, had spoken a single command, and had changed their fate forever. Don't ask questions, just stay. The humans braced themselves. They would stay, and they would fight. The hum of the station filled the corridor as the human crew followed the tall alien. Her every step seemed deliberate, controlled, and somehow precise beyond human understanding. The further they walked, the more they realized that this station was not just a building, it was a test, alive in a way they could feel but could not yet comprehend. Captain Elias Ward kept a steady pace at the front. He glanced over at Dr. Lena Torres, who was studying the alien's movements intently. "I don't think she's just showing us the station," he said quietly. "I think she's teaching us or testing us." Torres nodded, though her eyes sparkled with excitement and fear. "Yes, but we don't know what the rules are yet, and we don't know what happens if we fail." The alien led them into a large, circular chamber. In the center, a holographic sphere rotated, displaying what appeared to be a miniature version of the gas giant and the station orbiting it. As the humans approached, panels on the walls slid open, revealing strange machinery, glowing conduits, and devices that seemed to defy explanation. She paused and extended her hand toward a console. When her fingers hovered over the controls, the hologram shifted to show a fleet of massive ships moving toward human colonies. The ships were sleek, dark, and bristling with weapons. They were unlike anything humans had ever seen. "They're fast," said Lieutenant Mara, her voice tight. "Too fast to fight conventionally." The alien's eyes glimmered. Through thought she conveyed a single word: adapt. Ward frowned. "Adapt? How are we supposed to adapt? We barely understand your tech." The alien did not answer in words. Instead, she gestured toward a set of panels that lit up with holographic schematics of her technology. She watched silently as the humans tried to interpret the controls, allowing them to experiment, to fail, and to learn. The first trial was simple in concept, but nearly impossible in execution. A holographic field appeared in the center of the room, filled with floating, shifting cubes that emitted energy pulses. The humans were tasked to manipulate the field, aligning the cubes to form a stable pattern. Torres stepped forward first. She reached for a floating cube, moving it carefully. It responded instantly, changing color, pulsing with energy. She tried to place it, but it floated back, resisting her control. "Think like her," whispered Ward. "Not like humans. Adapt to the station, not the other way around." It took hours, but gradually the humans began to understand. They discovered that the cubes responded not just to touch, but to intention. Their minds had to anticipate the movements, predict the energy flows, and adjust instinctively. Finally, after long effort, the last cube clicked into place. A quiet hum filled the room. The alien observed silently, her expression unreadable, but there was a subtle glow in her eyes, a sign of approval. "That was just the beginning," she conveyed. "More tests will come." The next trial was physical. A corridor opened, revealing a shifting obstacle course. Energy barriers appeared and vanished at random. Platforms moved, walls rotated, and gravity shifted in brief bursts. The humans had to navigate the course without touching the barriers, or they would be reset to the start. Lieutenant Mara went first, leaping from one platform to another. She stumbled, nearly falling into an energy field, but recovered. Ward and the others followed, relying on agility, timing, and teamwork. Torres paused at one point, analyzing the pattern. "The barriers aren't random," she said. "They respond to fear. Hesitation triggers the reset. We have to move with confidence even if we don't fully understand." The team worked together, learning to trust not just their instincts but each other. Slowly, they reached the end. The alien nodded once, then directed them toward the final trial. This trial was the most challenging, a moral and intellectual test. A holographic projection displayed a simulated colony under attack by the alien fleet. Hundreds of innocent humans were in danger. The crew had to decide quickly which systems to defend, which to abandon, and how to allocate resources with limited information. They debated furiously. Mara wanted to save as many people as possible. Tors argued for defending the colony's energy core, which could prevent further destruction. Ward weighed the risks, trying to balance survival and strategy. Time passed quickly. Ships approached the colony in the simulation, firing devastating energy beams. The humans made their decisions, assigning defense systems and diverting power where they saw fit. The hologram responded. At first, it seemed catastrophic. Many ships were destroyed, but the colony still suffered heavy damage. Ward's stomach sank. Had they failed? The alien projected a thought, sharp and clear. Good. You adapted. You survived. The humans stared in disbelief. They had believed they had failed, but the station evaluated success differently. It measured creativity, courage, and the ability to make tough decisions under pressure. They had passed. Suddenly, alarms blared. The room shook as lights flashed red. The holographic projection shifted violently, showing the alien fleet closing in on multiple human colonies, faster and more coordinated than before. "They're here," whispered Mara. "They're real. They're coming." The alien turned to them, eyes glowing with intensity. "Your trials were preparation. Now the real test begins." Ward swallowed hard. "We've learned a lot, but we're not ready for them." The alien's gaze seemed to pierce him. "You are always ready. The question is, are you willing?" The crew moved quickly. Using the knowledge gained from the trials, they activated sections of the station's defensive systems. Energy barriers deployed around simulated colonies in the hologram, weapons charged and control systems engaged. They worked as a team, each member contributing what they had learned. The alien observed, silent but attentive. Then she stepped aside, allowing the humans to lead. The first wave of the fleet arrived. Sensors on the station detected dozens of ships emerging from the gas giant's orbit. They moved with terrifying speed, energy weapons lighting up the void as they targeted human colonies. "Focus on coordination," Ward shouted. "Use what we learned. Adapt to their movements." The humans moved as one. Tors manipulated energy flows to create temporary shields. Mara controlled platform deployment to intercept enemy ships. Ward coordinated attacks, using timing and strategy learned from the trials. The alien watched silently, but a faint glow of respect shone in her eyes. She had guided them, but now humanity was showing its true strength. Despite the odds, the humans began to turn the tide. Ships that should have overwhelmed them were destroyed or deflected. Their improvisation, teamwork, and quick thinking surprised even the alien. But the fleet was relentless. More ships arrived, larger and faster, adapting to the humans' defenses. The station shook under the strain, and for the first time the humans felt fear, not for themselves but for the colonies they were trying to protect. Ward's mind raced. "We need a new strategy. Use unpredictability. They won't expect it." Tor's eyes lit up. "The fleet responds to patterns. If we break the pattern even briefly, we can create an opening." They executed the plan, combining chaos and precision. Ships collided, energy fields malfunctioned, and the alien fleet struggled to maintain formation. The humans seized the opportunity, pushing back the enemy and protecting the colonies, at least temporarily. The alien stepped forward. Her voice, now audible but still calm, echoed through the chamber. "You are learning. You are dangerous. You are human." The crew froze. Her words were not praise, they were a warning. Humanity had potential, and potential was dangerous, even to beings far older and more advanced. Then, a sudden pulse rocked the station. Energy flares erupted, cutting power to several control panels. The alien fleet's attack had intensified. One of the humans, Mara, was nearly caught in a plasma surge. Ward grabbed her, pulling her to safety. "We can't stop them alone," Ward said, breathing heavily. "We need her. We need the alien." She approached slowly, her presence commanding as always. "You have proven yourself," she thought to them, "but this is only the beginning." The humans realized the truth. The station had prepared them, taught them, tested them, but the real challenge was yet to come. The alien fleet would not wait, and when it arrived in full force, humanity would have to fight not just with technology, but with courage, ingenuity, and the relentless spirit that made them who they were. As the alarm continued to blare, Ward looked at his crew. "We've come this far, we've survived the trials, and we'll survive this too, we have to." The alien observed them, a faint smile in her eyes. She had seen countless species, countless civilizations. Few had the spark to survive challenges like this. Humans did. And as the station's defenses activated, shields flaring and weapons charging, the crew realized something profound. They were no longer just explorers. They were humanity's first line of defense. The alien stepped aside, allowing them to take command. Her last thought before fading into the shadows of the chamber was simple but chilling. "Use what you are or everything ends." The humans braced themselves. Outside, the enemy fleet loomed closer, dark silhouettes against the gas giant's glowing clouds. Inside, the crew's hearts beat with determination, fear, and the growing realization that they could face anything if they trusted themselves. And for the first time, they truly understood the alien's words. "Don't ask questions, just stay." They would stay. They would fight. And humanity would rise, no matter the cost. The hum of the station was deafening as the human crew braced themselves. Outside, the alien fleet loomed like a black storm, ships moving in perfect formation, each vessel bristling with deadly energy weapons. The gas giant below reflected their ominous silhouettes, and the humans could feel the weight of the moment pressing down on them. Captain Elias Ward took a deep breath, steadying himself. His crew was tense but ready. Every trial they had faced inside the station had led to this moment. They had learned, adapted, and survived, but now they would have to prove themselves against a threat that could wipe out entire colonies. "Doctor." Lena Torres adjusted the station's energy distribution panels, her fingers moving quickly over the alien controls. "We know some of the fleet's weaknesses now," she said. "We've studied their attack patterns. If we act fast, we can exploit them." Lieutenant Mara nodded. "And the alien, she's letting us do this ourselves. No instructions, no guidance, just us." Ward glanced at the alien, standing silently in the corner. She didn't move, didn't speak, but her presence radiated authority. Her eyes seemed to study them, waiting to see if humanity could rise to the challenge. Ward's voice was firm. "All right, we know what we're up against. Stay calm, work together, and remember everything we've learned. We survive by thinking, by acting, by adapting. Let's show them what humans can do." The first wave of enemy ships struck. Energy beams lit up the void, exploding against the station's shields. The station shook violently, alarms blaring, lights flickering. Mara's console flashed red as an enemy ship breached the outer perimeter. "Divert all power to shields," Ward ordered. "Torres, focus on energy flow to the defensive turrets." The crew worked in perfect synchronization, their training inside the station now applied to real combat. Torres rerouted power, pulsing it through the turrets just in time to intercept incoming fire. Mara manipulated shield frequencies, adjusting them to deflect the alien energy beams. For a moment, it seemed like they might fail. The enemy fleet was overwhelming, their weapons precise and devastating. But humanity had something the aliens did not anticipate: unpredictability. "Break formation," Ward shouted suddenly. "Do something they won't expect." Tor's eyes widened. "You mean chaos?" "Exactly. Chaos and improvisation. Trust your instincts." They executed the plan. Instead of following predictable defensive patterns, they moved in unexpected ways, creating openings in the enemy fleet's formation. Ships that had seemed invincible now collided with each other, energy fields disrupting coordination. The humans seized the opportunity, striking back with precision and determination. The alien watched, her eyes glimmering. She had observed countless species in combat, but few had the creativity and courage of humans. This was different, dangerous, admirable. Ward coordinated the counterattack. They used the station's advanced weaponry, combined with tactics they had devised themselves. Energy beams sliced through enemy hulls, turrets fired with perfect timing, and the humans adapted continuously as the fleet responded. Despite the chaos, the humans kept their focus. They prioritized weak points, protected the colonies under attack, and exploited the alien fleet's rigid strategies. Slowly, ship by ship, they began to turn the tide. "Incoming! Big one!" Mara shouted. A massive command vessel approached, larger than any they had encountered before, bristling with energy cannons. It seemed unstoppable. Ward's mind raced. "Tors, can we overload the station's energy matrix? Focus all power into a single strike." Tor's fingers flew across the controls. "It's risky, but it could work." "Do it," Ward commanded. Energy surged through the station, pulsing through the turrets and weapon systems. The command vessel fired, but the humans anticipated its trajectory. A single, massive beam of concentrated energy shot from the station, hitting the enemy ship with perfect precision. The vessel exploded in a brilliant flash, debris scattering into the void. The crew cheered, but Ward didn't relax. "One down, many more to go. Keep moving." They continued the fight, combining improvisation, teamwork, and the alien station's power. Slowly but surely, the alien fleet faltered. Ships were destroyed, coordination broke down, and the humans, fueled by courage and quick thinking, began to dominate the battle. The alien stepped forward, her presence commanding as she observed. For the first time, she spoke aloud, her voice clear and powerful. "Humans, you are remarkable, you adapt. You endure, you survive where others fail." Ward met her gaze. "We've always had to survive. We don't back down. We fight not just for ourselves, but for everyone we care about." Her eyes glimmered with approval. "Yes, that is why you are dangerous. That is why you are worth watching." As the battle continued, the humans used one final tactic. They combined the station's energy, their own creativity, and the chaos of the enemy's disarray. The remaining ships were forced into a narrow corridor between the gas giant and the station's orbit. The humans fired simultaneously, overwhelming the fleet in a coordinated strike that destroyed the last of the command vessels and scattered the remaining ships into retreat. Silence fell over the station. The alarm ceased, the lights steadied, and the hum of energy returned to a steady pulse. Outside, the void was calm once again. The human colonies were safe for now. The crew slumped in exhaustion, their faces smeared with sweat and grime. They had survived. They had triumphed. And they had done it on their own, using their intelligence, courage, and determination. The alien approached Ward. Her expression was unreadable at first, then softened slightly. "You have proven yourselves. Humanity is not to be underestimated." Ward nodded, breathing heavily. "We did what we had to do. We protect what we care about. That's who we are." The alien inclined her head. "I have watched many civilizations. Few survive the challenges I set. Fewer still rise to the occasion. Humans, you have potential beyond your own understanding. Your species may yet shape the galaxy." Dr. Torres stepped forward. "You mean you'll help us, or at least guide us?" She shook her head slightly. "I will not interfere further. The choice is yours. You have shown the capability to survive. The rest depends on you." Ward glanced at his crew. They had faced fear, danger, and the unknown, and they had succeeded. "We'll survive," he said firmly. "We'll protect our colonies, and we'll keep fighting no matter what comes next." The alien's eyes glimmered once more, a faint smile appearing. "Then you are ready. Use your strength, your courage, and never forget what it means to be human." With that, she turned and walked away, disappearing into the depths of the station. The humans watched her go, feeling a mixture of awe, respect, and a newfound determination. Outside, the stars stretched endlessly. Humanity had faced one of its greatest challenges and emerged victorious. The alien fleet had been defeated, but the lesson remained clear. The universe was vast, dangerous, and full of threats that would test them again and again. But now the humans knew their true strength. Intelligence, courage, creativity, and adaptability were their greatest weapons. They had proven that even in the face of overwhelming power, humanity could survive and even thrive. Ward looked at his crew. "We've done something incredible here, but this is only the beginning. We've shown the galaxy what humans can do, and they will remember." Mara smiled, exhaustion and relief written across her face. "We really are dangerous." Tors laughed softly. "Yes, but in the best way. We fight for life, for survival, for each other. That's what makes us human." Ward nodded, feeling the weight of responsibility, pride, and hope. "Let's return to the colonies. We have work to do, and the galaxy is watching." The crew moved back to the control deck. The alien station had become their home, their tool, and their proving ground. And as they set a course for the nearest human colonies, they knew one thing for certain. Humanity had risen, not by chance, but by courage, intelligence, and an unbreakable will to survive. In the silent void of space, humanity's heart beat strong. They were no longer just explorers. They were defenders, thinkers, and conquerors of the impossible. The universe would test them again, and when it did, they would be ready. The alien, watching from the shadows of the station, allowed herself one final thought. "Humans, they are more than I imagined. They are everything a species should be, and more." And with that, the stars stretched endlessly, the galaxy alive with possibilities, and humanity's story continued. Undaunted, undefeated, and unstoppable.